There are two guys that come to mind when it comes to just out of nowhere, I want you, you know. And it's funny because the two guys are totally different people. And one of them is the guy that I'm dating now. And the other, we never ended up dating. But what it was with them was this relaxed, like inner relaxed, grounded, like I am who I am. And they were totally different people. You know, one was really animated and talkative and, always had something going, and like always had plans or wanted to do this or that. The other was, it's so laid back and relaxed and pretty much cool with everything. And not in, a wishy-washy, I don't want to make decisions way. He really is. He's up for pretty much anything, and he'll have a good time doing it. And if it sucks, then we'll find something else to do. And I guess what really, like, what the two common things between these two guys, because outwardly so many things were so different, but the common thread, the two, are that they were okay in who they were and what they were doing. There wasn't that anxious puppy sense. Like, you can be as, they can have a guy can have as calm a face or, say the same things and have the same outward expression.
There have been a couple guys where my rules kind of went out the window, or not so much rules, but the things that I would normally find attractive. And the one person I can think of in particular just had an incredible sense of humor. He was kind of, it sounds mean to say, but he was like not the most attractive person, and some people might even say unattractive, but he was just so funny and so engaging that he became the most attractive person to me. And, and that one actually kind of ended up breaking my heart in the end. It was, so sort of, the idea that it's not always what you see at first glance that's going to work, that actually works. But definitely sense of humor is key. Witty, just funny, smart, nice, but not darn that nice, The type of sense of humor I love is that dry, sarcastic. I love the sort of stereotypical British humor, and British wit I think is very attractive, and I think a lot of women find that sort of thing attractive. They don't have to be British, but definitely not. But someone who is kind of clever and sarcastic can be pretty funny. But this is another area where I see sometimes guys stumble a little bit. Don't ever make a sarcastic joke at the expense of the woman. Sometimes I see that, and that definitely backfires. That's not good. Oh, there are definitely things that, in a way a man approaches you that can automatically just put a huge barrier up to ever wanting to date the person, kiss the person, definitely not sleep with the person. And again, part of it is that sort of player vibe. I cannot stand that. It's so irritating and insulting. But, obviously, like, a guy starts making racist jokes, yeah, done. A guy makes jokes about gay people, done. Guy's a hardcore Republican, sorry, done. And that's specific to me. But I think as a general rule, you got to be pretty careful about, not just, you got to be careful about how you broach sort of controversial subjects. And I think be very sensitive to, I'm someone who has gay friends and had an uncle who died of AIDS. And that was a big force in my life. So if someone were to come over and make like a fag joke, yeah, done, So cockiness, yeah, which kind of goes back to the player, not so attractive.
If someone's going to knock my socks off right away, then it's probably going to be someone that is really happy and enjoying their life and what they do, and really passionate about what they do. And to me, that translates as in, like, I could be a part of that happy life, or, you know, they're going to transfer their excitement and, like, passion and, like, zest for life to having me in it, or to me. And that's really exciting for me. When I talk about passion, for me, it can really be anything. It's almost like the passion itself is what's attractive. Perhaps I have an assumption that passion for something will transfer to, you know, passion in bed, or, you know, passion for me, or, you know, just it makes things exciting. So I've seen so many different kinds, you know, passion for their job, or for their family, or the type of ice cream that they're eating, or their you know, the bite that they just took of their dinner. It's just really cute and sexy. If there were one of the things that could really just be an automatic turn off for me about someone is if they really had no like passion for anything, you know, if they're sort of just maybe seem like they're sort of dead, or, you know, not zestful about their life, or living, or, you know, bright and excited about something. If I were going to give someone advice about just being attractive, then I would say, you know, just own who you are. You know, and everyone has amazing things about themselves, and anyone can really be attractive, and just being confident and interested in people. You know, women just want to be listened to. I mean, probably all people just want to be listened to, but you know, just paid attention to, and have someone be excited about them and turned on by them, and that takes engagement in life.
To be naturally attractive to me, you're gonna be yourself. That's the number one most attractive thing, even if you're nervous, or even if you're not the, you know, studly guy. That's okay. That's not what I'm into. I'm into someone who's confident with themselves. So if you know your sense of humor and you're going to show it, if you talk about things that you're passionate with, this is key, being attentive to me. So when I'm talking, really paying attention, really making eye contact, showing that you're listening, showing that you care. That's ways that people are attracted to you. Body language, being open and not being closed off, and being able to be natural and relax as yourself. The best way to do that, I think, is to, first of all, be on a date with someone who you know you have similar interests with. Assuming, you know, you get the phone number, you get the first date, which is a whole nother ballgame. But once you do that, make sure you're with someone who you're not just physically attracted to. Make sure that you have common interests and you have something to talk about. You can have a conversation. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere past that. Being yourself is a very general term girls use a lot, but being yourself to me means that you have hobbies, you have interests, you have common interests that are specific to you. It's not general, run-of-the-mill, like, oh, I go see movies a lot. Okay, well, if you see movies, who are your favorite directors? Who are your favorite actors? Why? You know, what, like, little facts, if that's your thing, what are you really into about them? If it's computers, you know, let's talk about what the newest thing coming out is, and if you take them apart and put them back together. I think in order to be yourself and be natural around a girl, you have to know yourself, and that means usually you're going to find someone when you're not looking. Usually you're going to find someone when you're so into what you do and so into what you're passionate about that it just sort of happens, it just sort of comes along. And the best way to do that, I think, if you don't have a hobby, get one. If you don't have an interest, start reading, find out what you like, because if there's nothing that you like, if there's nothing that you're passionate about, then I'm not going to be taken with you. So that's definitely a good way to be attractive to a woman, is to have things that you're really interested in and passionate about.
I have definitely met a guy who's off the bat, wow.
the scenario with that is I'm good friends with his best friend. And I had met this person about 6 months before I met this friend of his who has the wow factor. And my friend, I always felt it was very platonic from my angle, but he at one point made a drunken move and that didn't work out, so we're still friends. But when he introduced me to his wow friend, it was just like, it didn't help that he's a business owner, he's very tall, he's very good looking, he's very just cool, very laid back, and unfortunately that's something I don't think you can learn. It's just sort of, you either have it or you don't. But I never dated the wow guy. He sleeps with everybody under the planet, under the sun, so, you know, I don't want to be one of a million. I'd rather be. But it was interesting, is with a friend, I probably could have had a relationship with if I would have maybe pursued that, because it was clear that he was interested, but didn't have the wow, so for me at that time it didn't seem right. I have one of my best friends who's gone from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, and I'm always like single or trying to date somebody or dating somebody and then they dump me or, you know, whatever, so it goes both ways. So as far as, I guess then I can speak from my own experience what I think helped me maybe let go of some of the, trying to get more wow for myself. I think it has a lot to do with, or it has everything to do with your confidence. And before you believe it, you have to just kind of fake it, I think. Even if you don't 100% believe you're the hottest thing in the room, just try for a day. Just walk into a place and just hold yourself with like good posture. Don't take yourself too seriously. Just be, I don't know, just laid back and not like you're uninterested in things. That's completely wrong. You're not, nothing matters, I'm so cool. And not that at all. It just has to do with believing that you have a product that somebody's going to be interested in. It's going to happen eventually. And that's all you can really do. And then I think the more you do that, it's almost like you tell yourself that a million times and all of a sudden you believe it. You're like, wow, I am worth it. And once that happens, that's when people flock to you. I haven't dated anybody who was completely not my type, but there is somebody who I know now who I think fits that bill because he's shorter than me, for one thing, which, to be quite honest, has always been something that I'd like, to have somebody at least as tall as me, if not a little taller. But what it is about him, he has the wow factor too, but in a completely different way. What it is with him, he's extremely talented at his job, and he's a performer, and seeing him on stage, it's just amazing to watch. And he's a friend. I'm not sure if anything would ever happen with him, but I think even as different from the types of guys that I normally date as he is, because of his talent and his confidence and his own specific energy, I think I would definitely say yes if he asked me out and see what would happen. There is definitely a guy from my past who I just wanted him all the time. And we were in a class together, and we'd always ride the train uptown, a bunch of stops, so it was like a 20-minute train ride, and we'd sit next to each other, and he would always, what it ended up becoming was like I was his psychiatrist or something, because he would always pour his heart out and, tell me about all these personal things that I believed. I mean, I don't know, I believed he wasn't telling other people. And so just that level of comfort that he had in sort of confiding in me made him really attractive to me, because it was almost like we were so intimate in ways that we weren't really, you know what I mean? Like, I guess the emotional intimacy that we had made me want him in a more physical way. But for him, I think it was really more like this nice girl who I can talk to, which was frustrating. And so eventually what ended up happening with that is that I So, because he was also giving me a lot of signs that he was sort of toying with me in a strange way. And so eventually I was just kind of like, dude, I need you to kiss me because you're driving me crazy right now. And we did, and it was amazing, but nothing really ever happened.
That was awesome. That's so good. That emotional intimacy, that's really...
It was torture. It was really hard because we would be on the subway, you know, like sitting together, and I just want to like rip his clothes off. I think something that really, really strikes me about a guy is the smile and the eye contact when you meet them. Somebody who you just feel has a natural warmth about them. And you may be nervous, you know, if he came over to me and maybe he's nervous about doing that, but if he sort of just comes over and is like, hey, how are you? And some sort of a natural warmth emanates. I don't know how you're supposed to just laugh and have fun and joke around and don't be so serious, I guess.
What I really like about a guy when he enters to the room would be like his attitude is like not thinking he's better than anybody else, but be like open, and you can see you can approach him without he being saying like, who are you, you know? So the attitude has to be really positive and confident and fresh. Well, what makes me talk to certain guy like better than another one, it's because he's not picky. What I mean by picky is it's because he doesn't. Well, there's certain guys that don't date a lot because they expect a lot, and they're like, I don't like this girl because she, like, they pick something and they make it so big. And these other guys, they're just like, okay, I'm gonna be open, I'm gonna give this girl an opportunity, I don't know her, so, and they tend to get positive results. And the other ones are just like, no, she danced weird, I'm not going to talk to her. And you're like, well, maybe you can have a great conversation. So let's just be open. And then if after that you don't like him, then that's great. And that's what I think that's a problem. I mean, I have a friend which never dates because he's like, there's this lot of girls following him. He's like, no, she's ugly. And he never dates. And you're like, man, give her an opportunity, you know? What would make a dream guy for me would be somebody that likes to have fun and at the same time knows when to be serious and knows when to be more like, okay, now it's your turn to talk, or now it's your turn to share, and then a guy that has a sense of humor, a guy that is I don't know, spontaneous. Okay, let's do this, or let's go here instead of where we always go. Okay, what a guy has to do in order for me to want to just take his clothes off would be be very touchy, but in a smooth way, not like grabby, just touchy and move very sexy. They have to move like they're flying, and that I don't know, like just I don't know how to explain. Just be confident and enter the room with a big look, like I'm here. I'm here. What a good entrance to a club would be a guy that comes in and first, if he's wearing a coat, then take slowly his coat, and he has to act like I want to have fun, but I'm not desperate. So I'm just like if he comes to the club every day, it's like a normal thing for him. Just he comes in, he looks around, he finds his friends, goes like, hey, not like, hey, you know, like, or like, hey, you, it's just like ridiculous. It just has to be normal, fresh. It's like, hey, I see my friends, I just walk, and not guys that are just like searching for girls and, oh, that's hot, oh, that's hot. You know, they just have to go and do what they do. I just come here to have fun and be with my friends. I would love them to call me the next day. Not right in the morning, but during the day. It's just like, hey, I met you last night. And, I mean, if there was a real good connection, you're like, great. You're even actually waiting for the call. If you don't like them, you're just like, oh, I hope I should have given him the wrong number. But I think the next day is great. For me, it's not too needy. If they call you in the morning, it will be needy. You're like, okay. But during the day, it's fine. That shows, for me, it shows they really like you. And I don't think they're needy. If a guy that I met one night before in a club texts me the next day, I would love him to say, first of all, ask, how did my night ended? Like, did you have fun? Or how did your night ended? Yeah, just like that. And I'll be like, oh, I have fun. Oh, really? So we should go out some other day. And I'll be like, yeah, great. Okay, so what are you doing now? Oh, wow. What I think about a guy that just learns lines and tells them exactly as he learned them and everything, I think it's ridiculous. Because girls, we know when you're saying something, it didn't come out from here. So, it's just, and you're like, okay, how many girls have you said this to? So I don't feel special, and I don't know, just better don't say anything, just make conversation. What I think about guys that come with this fake high energy to talk to you, I notice it, and I think all girls notice. And I think that if you really show interest about this girl and what she's saying, then the high energy will come up by itself. You don't have to pretend. I don't know, we notice. Unless you're stupid, which, we notice that you're just trying to be interesting and you're just trying to show off. And for me, it's a turn off. What a guy could do in order to have sex the fastest way as possible is taking you out to different places, to be consistent and not to be like, I call you this week and I don't call you the next because I want to play it hard to get. And you're like, well, no, that's my rule. You have to show that you care. And I like when guys show that they care. So they come up with this old great ideas of going out. It doesn't have to be something fancy, or it just has to be something different every day. Even if it's like, okay, I want to go buy some shoes. Can you come with me and buy some shoes? Of course, I'll come with you. And then it's just like day by day, and then you see they want to spend some time with you doing whatever. And then you just, for me, I have to feel comfortable with him, even in silences. So that's when I get to have sex. I don't have like a certain amount of days. Okay, I'm gonna wait 5 days and then I'll have sex with him. It's just, you just feel it. And it could happen in one day, it could happen in, a month, it's a lot, but, you just feel it. There's nothing special that has to do, like, dress up as a fireman or anything. Just no. Just be yourself. Yeah.
The first person that I started a relationship with was Asian. I had no idea that it was going to go that way. I usually always ended up dating someone in my same ethnicity. I'm Hispanic, so I usually always dated the person that was Hispanic because that's what I was told to do as a child, that you should date somebody in your same ethnicity. But this one guy really opened up to me, and I noticed just because you don't have the same culture, you can share a lot of the same things, especially when it comes to
You just feel it. There's nothing special that he has to do, like dress up as a fireman or anything. Just no. Just be yourself.
the first person that I started a relationship with was Asian.
Pretend. I don't know. We notice. Unless you're stupid, which I mean, we notice that you're just trying to be interesting and you're just trying to show up. And for me, it's a turn off. Like I could do in order to have sex the fastest way as possible is taking you out to different places, to like to be consistent and not to be like I call you this week and I don't call you the next because I want to play it hard to get, and you're like, well, no, that's my rule. You have to show that you care. And I like when guys show that they care. So they come up with this old great ideas of going out. It doesn't have to be something fancy, or it just has to be something different every day. Just even if it's like, okay, I want to go buy some shoes. Can you come with me and buy some shoes? Of course, I'll come with you. And then it's just like day by day, and then you see they want to spend some time with you doing whatever. And then you just, for me, just I have to feel comfortable with him, even in silences. So that's when I get to have sex. I don't have like a certain amount of days. Okay, I'm gonna wait 5 days and then I'll have sex with him. It's just, you just feel it. And it could happen in one day, it could happen in I mean, a month it's a lot, but but I mean, you just feel it. There's nothing special that has to do, like dress up as a fireman or anything. Just no, just be yourself. Yeah.
The first person that I started a relationship with was Asian. I had no idea that it was going to go that way. I usually always ended up dating someone in my same ethnicity. I'm Hispanic, so I usually always dated the person that was Hispanic because that's what I was told to do as a child, that you should date somebody in your same ethnicity. But this one guy really opened up to me, and I noticed just because you don't have the same culture, you can share a lot of the same things, especially when it comes to family. Hispanic family is very close, really open. They do a lot of things together. And I noticed that the Asian guy that I dated and was dating at the time had the exact same things. He had big family parties. I always felt close with his family. And just to share that and know that you can date somebody in any ethnicity and know that everyone is the same. It's not because of their color. It's not because of their eyes. It's the person in them. It's the person that they are and how they were raised. I've dated a lot of Filipinos. I've dated an Indonesian, and it's been good. I've never had one complaint about dating an Asian. I think that as long as you put yourself out there and not think that you're invisible to any woman that's not Asian, that you're not going to have really a problem. As long as you make yourself available and put yourself out there is all that it really takes. Some Asian guys have women start thinking that Asian guys are very feminine. Why? They bathe themselves quite frequently. They don't have a lot of hair on their body like other ethnicities. So maybe a woman thinks he shaves, but they don't. It's just the way that they're built, the way that they're made. Maybe they're a little bit more scrawnier. They don't work out. The thing, though, is that a woman's going to like you for the person that you are. And if you want to bump up your masculinity, I would say I don't see a lot of Asians playing sports. I don't see a lot of Asians in the gym. I mean, this doesn't go for all Asians. This doesn't go for a certain category. It's just what I've observed. But when I do see someone of an ethnicity that maybe is Asian and working out in the gym, and I see a little bit of muscle on him, like that gets me a little bit turned on, because I know that he's actually working on his body, because it's very hard to work on a small body. I have a very small body frame, so I definitely understand that it takes a lot more to build it up, to look more masculine, to have that look about you. I also noticed that a lot of Asian men, it's in their culture to be very quiet. They're a lot more shy, a little introverted. But with that being said, it's all about getting out there, taking a chance, taking a risk, talking to a girl, saying, hey, how are you? I have a friend, for instance, that always thought that he wasn't going to get, the white girl with the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and he didn't, but he ran into a beautiful black woman, and she's like, I don't know, 5'9", and he's like no more than 5'3", and they're in love and happy, and it's all about taking that chance. And he finally said, you know what, I don't date, I don't talk to women, and that's my problem, is a woman's not going to come up to me. Yes, some instances they are, but they haven't yet. It's been years. I'm going to take a chance on this woman. And he did, and now they're engaged. So anything can happen. It's just you need to put yourself out there and be confident, because confidence is key. I think that every guy has a fair game chance, no matter if he is rich or if he's poor. I personally have dated both, but to tell you the truth, the guy that doesn't have very much money, that maybe doesn't have a car, that's working on getting somewhere else in life, is usually the funner guy. He's the guy that thinks of ideas that doesn't involve money. He thinks of the picnics in the park, or he thinks of taking you to a museum, or a movie in the park or a movie in a building, something that's unique where it's not always, you know, oh, I have a lot of money, so I'm going to take you out to the best restaurant. Sometimes girls don't like that. Sometimes we, or at least me, sometimes I want you to call me and say, I'm going to cook you dinner, because I know that it's coming from the heart. I know that you're working at it. You're going to the grocery store, making sure everything's perfect, cooking me dinner, and that's going to, it cuts your cost in half. And I think that definitely guys that don't have a lot of money think more about a date and prepare more. I definitely do feel that way. So I don't think that it matters if you have money or not. It just matters if you're creative. What's important to me about the way that a guy looks definitely, again, would have to be self-confidence, the way a guy carries himself. Not sloppy. Maybe you need to wash your hair, shaven. And some girls like, you know, scruffy guys, but personally for me, I usually like a guy that I know that takes care of himself, because then I know that he can take care of me. And when a guy doesn't look like well-groomed, or they can't take care of themselves, then how do I know what's going to happen when we're together? For instance, I once had a boyfriend that started slacking. He stopped shaving. He didn't want to take a shower every day, and it was confusing, because at first he showed that he cared, and then all of a sudden he didn't care when he was my boyfriend, and that really turned me off, and it led to among other things, it led to me breaking up with him, because he didn't care about himself anymore. And how is he supposed to care about me if he doesn't care about himself and the way that he looks, his image? It doesn't mean you have to wear Gucci and Prada and Dolce & Gabbana. You just need to represent yourself and say, here I am. I'm a clean person. I like to take care of myself, and I am capable of taking care of you as well.
Okay, so I've done the online dating, and the thing, in Match.com, I've done that. That's the only one I've done, and I did it for a month last summer, and then I did it last month in New York. And so the thing is, what's really sketchy, what stinks, is you get really weirdos winking at you and all this stuff. But anyways, the thing is, okay, when you meet the guy, you want a guy that wants to meet you right away, and who wants to get a drink, let's meet up. You don't want to do the 1,000 emails. And so, but as soon as, if their picture is not their same deal, this guy, last week, I don't know what these pictures are from, but he looked so different. And it's I feel I believe, I was telling my friends, I think Match.com should have a minute plea or something, that as soon as you see the person, it's you can either walk away or then be okay, let's do this. Because if the person doesn't look like their picture, you don't, this guy was so old, and then the whole time we were having drinks, he kept winking at me. And okay, because guys just don't wink. Don't wink ever. Okay, just take the winking scale out of your repertoire. I don't care. So he kept winking at me, and then and then he was trying to offer me a job, and then he just texted me and he's have you ever been to a cocktail party? And he was he's do you have a hot cocktail dress? And I was because I don't want to see him, so I was no, I don't. And he's do you want my assistant to pick you up one? And I'm oh my god, get away from me. So if a girl doesn't respond to your text, typically she doesn't but then guys don't respond to text either, and it shows you're not interested. But the same thing applies. And yeah, no, Match, it's an interesting one. It's interesting. For me, really, it's the pictures, because you really don't, for me, a successful profile, it's if you're attracted to the guy, because you really don't. Oh, and then also, every guy's profile says the same, oh my god, every guy's profile says that they love to run and they love to work out. It's I don't care. I don't understand. To show this, what, they build muscle every day? Guys, I don't care. It's really, that's great that you work out. And then, they're I want a girl who, will run with me. And, it's I think they're looking for, another, guy partner. I don't know. So, but it's and, oh, the worst is when you see, pictures,
you know, like on Facebook too. It's like when when the guys take pictures in the bathroom of themselves with like their muscles, like if they're like naked, or I guess they just have like shorts on, but they take pictures of like their buff body. And as soon as you see one of those, you're like, pass. Or any picture like with a guy in his car and he's like in it and he has like a picture, or like he's in front of it and someone took a picture of him in his car. Like, I don't care that you drive whatever. Like, it's really not, because they're like, look at my red, you know, like my Beamer or something. So no, that's a car, no. Those are the worst, like the muscle pictures. Those are like the worst. Those are killers. But a successful one, typically with, you know, guy always clothed. Clothed is good, and he seems like he's funny in the profile, which is hard, but it's not. He has some like funny comments, like he's like, you know, I don't know like what I'm doing here, like my friends made me sign up. Instead of a guy who's like on his like 6 month, he seems like a pro at it. Like if a guy always seems like a beginner at it, you're like, okay, he's normal like me, like, because it's like, what are we doing on here together? Oh, you want to like lean towards the people who are like really weary of Match.com instead of the people that are really comfortable and being like, I have this and I sell this, and who put their whole life on the profile. And it's like, I don't really, if a guy puts so much on the profile, it's like, well then, what's the point of like, you saw everything, you know, like, and especially when they put like how much money they make, you know, it's like, you know, and like guys are always like, you know, I make 150 up, you know, it's like there's like the different categories in there, and they'll say like that they love going to like all these like different islands like every weekend, and this guy, he told me how he like went to Paris this past weekend. I'm like, that's, you know, he's like, just because, and that's great, and that's really fabulous, but like when the bragging gets so much, it's not, like when you're really just selling yourself, I just personally don't find that. When a guy is just him and his family, or like if it's him and his friends and it's like a picture and he says like this is what he does, like how he works in a business, he owns his own business, and he doesn't say what it is, I think that's great. Like, you don't need to tell me what it is. You own your own business, that's cool. You can own an ice cream truck, whatever, like, good for you. But, and it says, like, what also, like, I mean, you can say, like, if what you're interested in, like, do you want, I think it always is really helpful for, like, a Match.com profile to say, like, do you want, like, are you looking for a long term? Are you looking just for, like, a, you know, friendship? Are you looking for just, like, meet and greets? Because, I mean, that, like, depends, too. That really changes it. So, yeah, and then, like, if you say, like, the type of girl you want, but, I mean, every guy, like, always says they want a girl who will work out with them, go running, and who is, like, you know, who is, like, down to earth and, like, goal-oriented. I mean, everyone is this, and, like, that loves their family. I mean, are you honestly going to go on Match.com and be like, I hate my family, so pick me? I don't think so. I should try it and see what happens. I think a guy who, for me, typically a guy that I'm attracted to isn't dorky. Like the guys that's like who I meet at the bars, like that to me is like the difference of like guys who are always getting girls and like some guys who aren't. It's like there's like a dorkiness to it that like they're trying so hard, and I think that's what, and that to me makes them dorky. That it's like, I don't mean like it's dork, you know, but it's like there's, when you try something so hard and it's just like, ease off, like just don't make, like you're putting too much effort into it and you're trying too hard. When you just like, when you're relaxed, like I had 2 guys come up to me once, they were good friends, and this one guy was like trying so hard, and he was like really loud and like right in your face, but he was also like, he was like calling us liars, like he was like wrong, like don't ever call a girl a liar when you first meet them, just don't, just please don't. And then also, if you meet a girl at a bar, do not stalk her on Facebook the next day. Like, and if she never gave you her last name, all I did was give this guy my first name and what school I went to, and he found me somehow. So that's really not, that's scary. And, but then his friend, who I typically wouldn't be attracted to, because he had like he had an earring, he had like all these tattoos, and I typically am not like, I would be with the other guy, like the clean cut guy, but this other guy, he was just so relaxed and just so, he was like, my friend's making a fool of himself. He's like, he always does. And I was like, yeah, man, like, cause he's making a joke about someone else. Like, that is key. Like, cause like, if you make a joke about someone else, that, you know, he's like, my friend's being an absolute idiot. Like, this is what he does. And then like when this guy gave me his, okay, well, and then the cool guy gave me his number and was like, call me if you want to, don't, it's all good. Like, and I was just like, oh, that's like really like simple. And he didn't even like tell me he was giving me his number. He just like wrote it and he was like, hey, here, this is, if you want it, cool. But then the other one sent his other friend to be like, can my friend ask you for his number? I mean, please, like, that's really not the way to go. He was like, he sent his business friend to ask me if he could ask me for the number. I mean, that, like, right there, that's not cool. Like, dork, like, dork. Like, of course, like, and then the whole time I'm like, wait, and then it turned out, then he started asking for himself, and he's like, wait, okay, if my friend can't, can I get your number? And I'm like, no, none of you, like, no. It's like, because the other guys, like, just sneak in, you know, like, just gave him the number, simple. I didn't have to give him my number. That's always a good thing. Like, give your number out. Like, just write it down, hand it to the person. That's a good thing to me. I think that's, like, a really smart way. Like, write your number on a napkin and, like, just hand it to the girl, like, when you're leaving and be like, hey, if you're interested, give me a call. I'd love to hang out. If not, cool. Like, have a good one. Like, hope to see you soon. And leave. And then instead of making this big deal about the phone number and being like, can I have your number? A girl does not like to give like her phone number out. And like a lot of girls, I don't give out like a fake number because I just don't have the heart to do it. But like a lot of girls do. And so, but it's just like it's like a big like, you want my phone number? Like, just give you yours and then it's great. Like that to me, like you gain points. Like, but so it's like the coolness, like of just, it's like the relaxed, they don't care, like they could need you, they could not, but if they're not already talking like that guy was talking about like dinner, I was like, okay, so where do you want to have like dinner? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not hungry. And he's like, oh, that was a good one. And I was like, you're so weird. Yeah, no, just be simple, be calm, and it's all good. And like, get a girl drink, always, you know, that's always, that's always just like easy, simple, you know, and it's like, oh, thanks, like I appreciate it. Like a girl really does appreciate it, you know, like even if they don't, they do. It's sweet. Instead of like being when a girl like has to like is getting her own drinks and like the guy, like she's like completely empty and he's like just standing there, but then he's like still hitting on you. It's like, that's really